Okay, so 6:21 on the 29th, and so it's Monday. So seems like there's a lot going on. So one thing, okay, so I'm just gonna kind of go through the different lists. Last night was weird as shit. Just get that out of the way. On my dreams, because I was stuck in the same dream all fucking night, but it was weird because I was going somewhere and I was taking the dogs, and then I just like expected them just to like follow me along, which I did work with Ruthie yesterday on training, which she does great by herself, but get the other dogs around and she loses her mind. But so I don't know if this is what brought up this dream and I had to go. I'm not even sure, but so they're following me around and we went somewhere, and then I was driving a pickup. And then when we left, I just went, and, it's just like I just expected them to go. It wasn't like I was doing anything. And Max got lost. And so then for the rest of the night, I was looking for Max all over the place. It was the craziest thing. It was so weird. So, anyways, and somebody on one of my Sky videos was talking about this crazy sky. They were at a casino night, and she went out on the balcony thing, and she said there was this crazy sky. And then somebody who worked there came out, and they started talking about how crazy the sky looked. And I just think it's kind of cool how I thought of this morning, how some of us are coming together on certain topics, certain subjects. And so the because most of the people who comment on the sky videos are into the sky thing. They're questioning like what's going on in my sky. Look at what's going on in their sky. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? How are things different than they used to be? And then you have these few, like, now it's funny because it's flipping. The fringe people used to be the ones that were like out there. Now it's like flipping, where it's the people who want to stay stuck in this this created reality, that they are the fringe people. So you do have a few that come in and start trying to tell you, well, scientifically, this is what's going on. It's like, shut the fuck up. So anyways, I just thought that was cool, and it made me think about, it is kind of funny because we do have different groups of people all bonding kind of on different topics. Like I saw a video this morning, and these people were, it's a podcast thing, and they were talking about the three-letter that starts with a C, in cahoots with the place in the Vatican place, the holder of the secrets, that they were in cahoots. They were going through all this conspiracy behind it, and it's like so crazy because there's all these people that it's like through religion and government conspiracy, all these people, and then you have people on the sky, you have people on the flat earth, like groups of people all like coming together, sharing perspective and waking up together, kind of, to the fake matrixy world that we are existing in. So anyways, I just noticed that this morning with those different things, and it was just like, it's really kind of cool, even though it does seem like a lot of people do get really stuck, but something's going to happen to push everybody, which one of the things, so over by Houston, there's a big spill that happened. And then I was reading that, so Harris County is who's going out. I was like, that is so freaking crazy, because what goes around comes around. And Harris County is, it's one of the big ones on what they're doing in the shelters. It's really big, and they've been really breaking. To me, it's so unethical what we're doing anyways in these kill shelters, but this place has gone over the top, over like they aren't letting dogs have, a certain amount of time. They aren't giving them name. They're doing unethical, like they're coming in and they're doing surgeries on them and then putting them down and just all sorts of stuff. It's really, it's sick. And but when you understand that concept of the energy you're putting out is going to come back on you. And so I was like, oh my God, Harris County, they're the ones that are going to have to deal with this. It's like because what you're putting out is going to come back on you. And so now whatever they've got, this toxic spill is going. And it's crazy too, because so many of the things that affect us that are also going on, but it's also the effects should be getting us to like wake up and to be questioning things and to be, taking notice because of stuff. So it pull, like all the people who aren't paying any attention, then this thing happens, and then it is very localized. Incident, and then so certain people who have to go out and deal with it, like Harris County, and then it brings them to your view, and so then I think more will come out. And so that's why it's important to stay aware of like your community and stuff, which I feel like so much of Donald was pushing for us to really get focused on community throughout some of his different things that he has said. Because, I mean, people keep wanting to focus on, well, there's so many distractions, but federal stuff and the, um, the people who sit in those seats want to keep us focused on all of that drama, because I think it's very intentional what they're doing. And so, but it is important to make a shift and start focusing on, community awareness, but fixing things in the community and stuff like that. Which this is kind of I don't know, it's just coming into my mind because and one thing I've seen tons of sweet, cute videos of kids opening their presents and just so excited over things. And there's been lots of puppies. But a lot of the people is like, this is their first dog they've been asking for years. And their parents finally got them one. And but lots of puppies, and that's just a hard thing when there's so much so many being, like the way things are being handled by the government at this point with the animals. And so it's been super cute, those different videos, but then there's also been ones where the people have gone and, lost their mind. That's not what they wanted, and totally unappreciative, and just, outrageous behavior. But this lady was talking about, and this is a dark skinned person, and she was being condescending, about the way people are raising their kids. Like, she's like, oh, you're doing such a good job. But then she started telling the story. And it is like, you do see some of these women who are like, it's weird. Like, they're dressing up their like little toddlers and stuff like strippers, and they're having them wear wigs and shit. It's like, what in the world is going on in our world? And then they act like little teenagers, and they act a little cocky and stuff like that. And the way they talk, and it's like just a lot of slang and a lot of attitude. And so, when this lady's telling this story, I'm like, oh, I've been seeing that too. And so she said that they were doing a gift exchange at the school. And so the kids that wanted to participate, they got to pull a name. And you had to get a gift for $25. You weren't supposed to spend more than $25. And he got this girl's name in his class. And the girl sent a list of the stuff she wanted. And she does Roblox. And the mom said her favorite show is Baddies, which I don't even know what the hell that is. If it's like, there's like shows of girls back in the day that girls acting out of control and stuff. So I don't know what this one is. I can't remember what the one was called, but my teenage girls used to watch it. And these girls are like 11 or 12. And these kids are like 11 or 12. And I know my kids used to watch that show, MTV shows. That was the popular thing back when my kids were in junior high. And, but I don't know that so much that they acted like it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Your perspective changes all throughout your life. Hopefully. I mean, I think that is how you grow, is perspective changing and looking at things different, seeing it from different directions and stuff. So, because at the time, it just seemed like, oh, well, that's what all the teenagers are doing. And then I had older daughters that were influential also over the teenagers. So, but there was people who thought my kids were totally out of control. So, but so this lady said that the girl whose name he got sent a list. Like, she wanted this Roblox gift card. She wanted all these clothes and shoes. And it's like this whole thing, which the mom thought was so strange. She said, I thought it was so strange that her favorite show was Baddies, which I have no idea what that show is. And that that she was asking somebody else's parents to buy her clothes and shoes. And so they just got her a gift card. And so she said that under the tree in the classroom, that the girl didn't bring anything. She didn't bring anything, and each day was getting closer, and there was nothing under the tree for her son. And then finally, it became the day of the thing, and they thought, well, maybe she's going to bring it today. And finally, it was the day of the gift exchange, and she didn't bring anything. So the son gives her gift, and then he says, where's mine? She said, I didn't get you anything. I don't have to do that, with all this snotty attitude, and then just walks off. So then he was just like, he didn't want to deal with it. So he was just like, whatever. But he told his mom was going to deal with it. And so she came up and started saying something to the principal and said she wanted that other mom up there. And she said, you could bring this mom up here. I want to talk to her. And she said that the daughter was wearing a wig with, it's something, I'm not sure what it is, with, there's something that I guess it seems like it wouldn't be something that little girls would be doing. And I can't remember what she called it. Fringe or some weaves. I don't know, something. And so, which I think it's something about the way you do your hair around the wig or something. And maybe, I don't know, it's kind of strange for little girls to be wearing wigs. I don't get that. And so, anyway, so she said the mom comes up and she's in her pajamas and a bonnet. And she's just like, right away, this mom's thinking, what is she wearing your wig and you can't get dressed? Like, what's going on with you? And she said the woman came up acting so, she called her ghetto, but so she was saying all this stuff, and she was just going all over the place, like, oh, well, we can afford things. And she's like, well, you didn't get him a thing. And she's like, well, so what? It was this whole argument that was going on, and the lady kept shifting gears over. They have plenty of money, and they could buy stuff if they wanted to buy stuff. So the mom just got fed up with the whole thing and was like, whatever, Merry Christmas to you, lady. Merry Christmas to your kid. Because she wouldn't give her the 20. She said she's already put it on her account, so we're not giving it back. And it was just like this total attitude where she's like, and they're raising their kids to be like this, to be little scammers, to be so, just like, I don't know, because when I was younger, there was this whole thing about, taking it more serious about how you were raising your kids, because you're putting out, I mean, it's kind of weird when you think about, like, we're putting out citizens in the world, but, which that's how they want it to be looked at, but you're also putting out people into the world who have to function, and what kind of people do you want them to be? What kind of life do you want them to have? You want them to be scammers? You want them to have crappy relationships? And so, anyways, I just like, I don't know with some people, but everybody's on their own soul journey. So everybody's on their own storyline. So she said that then, after dealing with this woman, then she, shamed the principal and stuff of how they handled it. Then she went down and she told that teacher off too. And she said, none of this would have even happened if you would have taken notice over what was going on under the tree, and you would have told her, if you were going to change it up because you haven't brought a gift, so you're not included in this. And then it wouldn't have been all this drama. But the teacher didn't handle it. Nobody was handling it at the school. And the mom was just like, what is going on with these people? Why are you raising your kids to be like this? And she's going to take it another step further, because then her older daughter knew the older sister, and that she knew that they were out of district and that they were using their grandma's address, but now their grandma moved, and so they're not supposed to even be in that school. And that mom's going on it. She's going to fight it. She said, I don't want these ghetto people coming in here and making our school all sketched out or something. I don't know. She was funny, but I could see like some of this stuff that people are dealing with in schools and stuff now, because our society has just gone so topsy-turvy. Like it's not necessarily cool to be have morals and to care about people, and so anyways, but it's flipping. Everything's flipping. And so things are turning the other direction. And, but anyways, that was just one of the stories that I'd seen this morning. And I was just like, I sat and listened to the whole thing. And then there is, let me see. I see so much. My algorithm is filled with heated rivalry stuff. People talking about it, the actors, the show, and there is such a consensus of, it's not about the sex, it's about the love, and it's the love story, and it's just such a good love story. And then I was thinking this morning too, because I keep wanting to say Grey's Anatomy, but it wasn't Grey's Anatomy. It was Shades of Grey or something. That whole phenomena around that book series and movies. And then all of a sudden, Bridges Over Madison County came into my mind this morning. I was like, oh, that was another one that had quite a phenomenal kind of thing that happened in society. And that one was, it was good. Oh, God, I love that book. It was a woman who, she had this affair. I don't remember how it went down, because she had a family. And I don't know if they were gone or something. And then this stranger shows up and they build this relationship. Because there's a movie of it too. I think Clint Eastwood was in the movie. I can't remember who the girl is. But and they have this passionate love affair where they're just like so in love. And then she just goes back to just being a mom, and it just is in her diaries and stuff. I think that the book is about her diaries being found by her daughter or something, and then her reading them and reliving what it was that happened. But the mom had gone, like she had experienced this love, but she was more dedicated to her family than to run off with this guy and go be in love. And so, that's a lot of different things. It's the, because so many people think the greener, what is that story? That phrase, the pasture isn't always greener on the other side, which our fucking yard is so fucking green. There is so much grass. It is weird as shit. I just can't even believe this is the end of December and there is just grass growing like it's April. And even yesterday, I walked out because I keep taking the bones, which when I keep doing this, I take out, I've been making them these turkeys and chickens and stuff. So I take out the bones out to, I go up over to I cross the little barbed wire thing, and there's a tree over there, and I put them under the tree, and also the eggshells. So I go put them under this tree for the other animals to have, which makes me kind of like, I hope I'm not, the bones, like I'm not doing something that's hurting the coyotes, even though I don't want the coyotes around. Hopefully they're not taking them. I thought that the bird, like the animal, I don't know. I've just done it for a long time. is living out in nature and giving back. And when I go out and do it, I oftentimes feel like I'm giving an offering to nature. And I'm definitely not trying to kill the coyotes with the bones, but you know, the birds will pick off the meat off the bones, little animals and stuff like that. And the bones are always gone when I go and bring the other ones. And but it did make me get kind of nervous. But then I was like, well, fuck, coyotes eat all that. Like they probably have really strong teeth and stuff. Like they probably have a system that, you know, it's not going to kill them to eat bones that they find or something. I don't know. But anyways, it has come onto my mind like, I don't want to be, you know, killing something. So, anyways, because when I was walking out there yesterday to put the bones out, then as I was walking back, I was like, what is all this growing now? And it would look like these little, like, black polka dots everywhere. And I was like, is it like some kind of a plant that's growing all over? Is it something that has rained down from us that is growing some like fucking weird thing? So I don't know. They're not huge yet, but they're scattered all over the place and they're very distinct. So you have all this green grass, but then you have these black. And then since this is my, you know, I've only been here a couple months, I don't even know all of the natural plants around here. So maybe completely normal, but I'm just like, what's this now? There's so much weird stuff like grass. We've got all this grass and I said something about it in one of the videos and somebody from Idaho said, nope, it's not normal. So I was like, I don't know. Maybe this is how it goes here in Idaho. Maybe they always have grass in December. But then somebody had written, nope, I'm from Idaho. There's this is not normal. And it is weird. I cannot even believe how much grass is out there. It's like, man, I'm going to have to get them. Well, my brother's supposed to be coming in a couple weeks. And so I'm going to wait and see what he says when he gets here. But yeah, I think he's going to have to go out there and mow. It's crazy. And there's still so many thorns. So the thorns are really going crazy. So I don't know if it's the momentum between the two forces going back and forth or something. Stella's torn her head off. So anyways, and we do have the forces of nature are going. So Kentucky had a big earthquake. Well, I would say big because it was felt for quite a ways, I guess. And it was a 3. And somebody has also noticed, because I said this yesterday, and somebody else noticed, I saw a video today, and they said they keep on saying the earthquake is the whatever, and then they keep downgrading it. She said, I think they're doing it on purpose. I think, and she's in California, and she said, I think that they are downgrading it because they want us to just stop paying any attention. And she said in Japan, they have been on, for 2 weeks, they've been on high alert. And the government's telling them, be prepared, something is coming, you know, everybody be prepared for anything to happen with the earthquakes and volcanoes and tsunamis and shit. And she said over a year in California, which she's in Northern California, and they just had another earthquake, and then they downgraded. And she said that and they aren't telling them anything. They aren't telling them to get prepared or anything. And then you have to go listen to other things that are saying, you know, this whole ring of fire that has got a lot of stuff going on. And then I saw a lady over in Italy, one of the volcanoes has started going off. And she's like all excited about it. It's like, yeah, cool, I guess, to get us to watch this volcano go off. But the earth is speaking back to us. The earth is changing. The earth is like showing its power. It's like and it is and it shouldn't be scary. Like we should be tuned in to the earth. But that's the problem, is so many people aren't. And so, yeah, things are going to get scary because things are going to happen that there's unexpected. And So there's volcanoes going, there's earthquakes going, earthquakes even over by the Madrid fault line, then over by the Mississippi, where that's supposed to be a really big thing, which I just saw the monks. I think they finished their walk, because where I saw them yesterday, they were saying thank you to all these different states and stuff. And all the videos I'd seen as they're walking, people gather around and cheer them. You've got all these people that are just like, oh, I wish I would have been in a place where I could have gone out and seen, but it was like, because now they're back in Georgia. So I don't know if it was from Georgia over to Texas and then back to Georgia. But so they went through Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, Georgia. It seems like somewhere else too. But anyways, though, they did this walk and walked up there and then walked back for this walk of peace and freedom or something like that. And so anyways, it was getting a lot of attention. People were going out and all excited. It was really super cool, I think. But I think their thing may be completed now. I'm not sure. Or maybe they're headed, they're walking back to the airport or whatever. I don't even know for sure how many days that they've been walking. But, and then I don't know if they slept on the sides of the road. I don't know if the people gave them places to sleep and then they got up in the morning and started walking again. I don't know. But anyways, they're all, these monks from, I don't know, China or something. And they're all dressed like monks. They're all like, I just think it was really cool. But so they've got stuff going over by the Madrid fault line. So they got stuff going all up in the Ring of Fire. We got other countries telling their people to get prepared. Our country just keeps being like nothing. And there's lots and lots of these swarms and swarms of earthquakes. So there's a whole bunch. Somebody said that, and they live in British Columbia. I saw them yesterday, and it was a girl, and she was kind of younger. I don't know, maybe in her 20s, maybe early 30s. And she said that, I don't remember why she said she did it, but she said a couple years ago, she put one of those earthquake watching apps on her phone. And so, she just had it on there so she could go on and look at earthquakes or something on. And she said it never does anything. Nothing ever happens or anything. She said the past few days or a week that it goes off nonstop. She said it just goes off nonstop. There's an earthquake, there's an earthquake, there's an earthquake, there's an earthquake. So she went on and she looked and she was showing some pictures, and there's so many. And she said she showed the thing because it has like this log and it shows you all these different ones and tons of twos, and so tons of small earthquakes going, and they're all in these certain areas. And there's a tons up because they're going to be affected too by British Columbia. That's going to be I think it's either in the tsunami or something, but when you look on the map, they're going to be affected. And so I don't know how the Cascadia, I don't know how the fault lines run exactly. And, but these earthquakes are following this pattern, these fault lines. So they're going down in these swarms. And so there'll be like a whole bunch in one, and then there's a whole bunch going down this way. Like there's a lot happening. You would think, because this is all on the West Coast, and you would think that they would be alerting the people and saying, people prepare for evacuation. And they would, even if they really cared about their people, I think that they would begin to evacuate. I think that they know what's coming. And even if it was, even if Donald knows, then I think what the story seems like to me. So even if Donald knows, because you got to keep in mind that there's certain aspects of, or certain links, certain groups in the government that have had access to Looking Glass and stuff. They know what's coming. I mean, even the naval projected map matches up almost identical to Edgar Casey's and stuff. So they know what's coming. They know this stuff is coming. Whether they learned it from Looking Glass, whether they've learned it from different beings that they talk to, because I'm sure that these different beings have been talking to them for, I mean, they were trying to talk to Eisenhower and stuff. This Galleon Thor or something who kept coming and trying to talk to him, and then they kept blowing him up and stuff, like, and he just kept showing back up. They took him, I think they cut him into pieces or something one time, and he comes back whole. Like, I don't even know all the stories about him, but so but I think these different beings have been talking to him for a long time. And so I don't know, but I know that there's people who know what's coming. And so it makes me think that when Donald has said, the ending's not for everybody, and he's said some other things, I can't think of them exactly, but that you can't, like, he can't just come in, just like our higher selves. Like, we can sit here and whine and cry to our higher self. Tell me what's happening. Tell me what's happening. Tell me when this is going to happen. Tell me when that's going to happen. And, a lot of times you'll hear them just shut down. Like, I'm not going to tell you. And when I asked about that before, and they told me, and I said that it is because we would try and stop what's supposed to be. What's supposed to be is supposed to be. And you can't interfere. And so for Donald to go and say, hey, you guys need to move, that would be interfering. It would be manipulating the future, because how it has to play out is what creates the change. And so if he tried to interfere with the future, then, and that would be a big thing that would come back on you, big karmic debt. And it is also the premise kind of behind the time travelers, because they've all, it has been said, if you've ever followed along with time traveling folklore or whatever, that that if you go into a time, you cannot go in and interfere. You can't change what's supposed to happen, because that is, things are supposed to happen the way they happen, because it's a domino effect of how things happen in there. It's all connected. And so so if he were to go and say, blatantly cold out, like, hey, you guys, there's about to be this big massive thing, and we need all of you to evacuate, everybody to come inland, because this thing is going to happen. These things can drop, but it has to do with where your soul is, what your soul is here to learn and grow from, and how alert and aware you are of the different things. So they can't just come in and tell you certain things, because that would interfere with your storyline. Your storyline has to play out, and you are programmed into your storyline. So you're on your own flight plan. And so for them to come in and interrupt that and disrupt it and tell you to move when you were supposed to be there for the disaster, because that was your way out, say. So you can't change everything like that. That's like changing the whole thing in the universe. So, and it wouldn't work out that way. It would cause a bigger problem in the energetic field. Like, so you have to allow things to play out the way they're supposed to play out. You have to allow the people to learn what they're supposed to learn. You have to allow the people to wake up how they're supposed to wake up. You have to allow the people to experience what it is they're here to experience, because it has to do bigger. There's a bigger picture involved. And it has more to do with their soul and the connection, the links between their lives and their karmic entanglements that they are trying to break free from. And so you can't interfere with that. And so it has to play out the way it has to play out. And so there's lots of people who are supposed to leave when this happens. That's their out. That's their out. And their completion. And it's crazy, because even when you think of it being a completion here, that isn't a completion entirely, because then you go to your life review and you go over it, and then people also go into that realm of healing, of kind of where they're kind of stuck until they process through all of the pain and suffering that they're carrying from this experience. And that is the thing, like some people refer to as the gray halls or something, but I always think of it as like purgatory, because that's what I learned when I was a kid. The space in between is the purgatory. It's between like your concept of heaven and hell. So it's the gray area in between the two polar opposites, which we want to gain access into the heavens, but that's where we're from. That's why when we go, that's why we feel so at home, because that is where we are from. But then we go into these darker realms because that is a space of experience, and experience is how you grow. And but there's a space in between, but it's all by vibration. So you couldn't just say like, oh well, this space is this big and this is this big and this is this big, because it is all by vibration. And so it's much bigger spaces than what you would think. And so the gray halls or the gray space or the purgatory space, whatever, is can be still a huge space where you can, it's said that you are kind of well, when the medium talked to my dad, he was his experience at this point in time, and he had been dead, I think, about a year, maybe less than a year. And so, and my dad was, in a lot of perspective, would have been like a bad guy. He was here to play the role of the bad guy in a lot of ways. And so, when the medium talked to him, and he said he was very angry. She said she was so uncomfortable to be around him and to talk to him. She said it was kind of spooky. And she said he was in a dark room and he was alone and he was full of anger and bitterness, and he couldn't understand why people hadn't forgiven him. And so he was really stuck in that space. But he's out now because now he comes to visit me and stuff. But and then when she talked to my grandparents, because then I was like, well, she won't talk to him really. And he was kind of just stuck in his own pain and suffering. And so he wasn't having influence over something that I thought would be something he would be trying to influence in my life that was happening. And so I had her talk to my grandparents. And that's where I found out that my grandpa is one of my big guides, and he's a part of my, it's so crazy because when he died, I was devastated. I was a kid and I was so devastated. It was so devastating to me. It was like beyond. And then when you're a kid, you're not even really realizing like the soul connection. But then when I talked to her, and he's been with me through everything, and he watches, and he gets upset when bad things happen to me, and people like he really, really did not like number 4, and made a lot of reference to things about him, and none of my grandparents did. They all said things, and so and then it was after that that I had that realization that he was around, and all that stuff. Then I started having memories of past lives of the one that stood out to me was the where I was like this Indian brave kind of. This is when I was in a tribe, and I'm not sure what all the thing was. It seemed like that there was a battle or something, but he was my dad, or the chief, and so he was this big figure in my life, and that's what he seemed like. And even to me, he even looked like that when I was a kid. He reminded me of like this Indian chief or something. His face shape and stuff. And so it's just weird because when you're a kid, I don't know, it takes a lot of like learning about things before, you start being like, oh, the reason I thought that was because I recognized him from a past life, but I didn't have that understanding at the time because he was just playing the role of my grandpa. And then I had to lose him, but I didn't ever really lose him because he was always with me. And But when she had talked to him, he said that he was going and helping my dad. And he goes in and works with him all the time. And so there was other people who were going in and working with my dad to help him. So that would be like guides and stuff and ancestors or whoever. We don't really know all of our real connections because we look at it in such a limitation as like it's my grandpa or whatever, but our connections through our soul and is so much bigger, and because we play all these different roles for each other. So, I don't know what all of how their connection is, if he's was a guide to him or how it is, but in this life, it was his dad. And so he was going in and helping my dad, who was stuck in the dark room, in the dark halls, but it's stuck in your own pain and suffering. And I think the reason it's so dark is because it's to have the focus. So there's nothing else to focus on except for to try and look at things. And it's always the best thing is try and look at things from more than one perspective. You got to you try and see around it. Don't just keep looking at it and getting closer and closer. You got to look at it from every way possible. And that is how you learn and grow, and you let go of things, because sometimes you just hyper focus on something and it keeps you stuck in this, like, where we have so many people stuck in victim mentality and feeling sorry for themselves and stuff. And so it's like I don't know, I see it like as a zoom in and zoom out. And when you zoom out, like if you feel like you're getting too close and you're getting too caught up in something, and you zoom out and step around it, try and look at it from, okay, well, this person, how would it be looking from this person's perspective? Well, how would it be looking from this person's perspective? And you start trying to see it from around, which, I didn't tell this story the other day but I want to tell it because I feel like this is interesting. So the neighbor, because like I said, the people across the street from each other, both of them had been married a long time, and both of their spouses died within a couple week period. And my mom, she's been single for a long time. And I don't know if that is like the lure to some people, because she is comfortable being alone. And these people are very uncomfortable being alone because they've never had the experience. And so it's very difficult. And things that are difficult are important. And they're important for you. And like, there's a reason why people are losing people and stuff right now. And it's to bring other parts of you to the surface. And anyway, so this, the one neighbor, he had called my mom, not to just say, oh, did you know my wife died? No, he called because he wanted to ask her if she was having some weird things happen at her house. And she's like, no, what are you talking about? And he said, well, like somebody running up and ringing your doorbells and then knocking on your windows and running around the house and stuff. And she's like, no. And she said, it must be some kids or something. But the thing about my mom's neighborhood too is there's not a lot of kids. And I can't imagine the couple that are there would be going out and doing stuff like that. And but the thing that to me is, because that one lady whose son had died, and they were so tore up about it, and then the son kept coming to the door and ringing the doorbell, and their doorbell camera would pick up his ghostly apparition and notify them that their son was there over and over and over and over. And then I can't even remember what. It was something else, because she ended up having to get a new doorbell camera. And then she was really upset because it wasn't logged in. Like her son's picture and name and stuff wasn't logged in to tell them who was there. So then she said, but it didn't stop. Then it just starts saying unknown person at the door, unknown person at the door. But he kept coming and coming and coming and coming and ringing the doorbell and coming to their house. And so that's what I was thinking, because he's so tore up about his wife and being so lonely and so sad that she keeps coming to the door. I don't think it's kids at all. I think it's her her energy is trying to communicate with him, trying to get through to him, let him know. It's gonna make me cry. Let him know she's not really gone. So that's the thing, is because we can't see somebody, we think they're not there, but we don't, you can't see energy, and their energy still stays with you. You're connected to them, like I said, through these events, these chains that are binding us in this bigger way in the whole scheme of things. And we look at everything through such limitation. But I was like, I bet you that's what's, I couldn't say this to, I can't tell most people. I can tell you guys, but I can't tell everybody. When people start seeing stuff like that, and you're like, oh, well, that's probably your so-and-so is there because they're visiting you. They don't want you to think they're really gone. They want you to know they're still there with you. And, okay, lady. And, so anyways, I got a little more time, okay? So anyways, I was thinking that is probably what is occurring. And I thought, oh, that's so cute and so sweet. And, but it's so crazy how when we are stuck in this like 3-dimensional world and we're looking for answers and stuff, and we don't see some of the things, because some of the things that we overlook are really beautiful, like really sweet and caring and charming and loving. The person who has left you suddenly is wanting you to know that they haven't left you entirely. They're still there with you, and they want you to know that they are there. They're there for you. And that's one thing too, is when people leave, especially when it's really quick, like tragic and quick, and like there's different things behind different ways of leaving. The slow, drawn out, that's a whole lesson is involved in that. The quick is a whole different lesson plan. So when the people leave real abruptly, and people are tore up about it, but they don't understand that the person who left is right there with you. They're going through it, like right there with you. They're not leaving you at all. Is they feel your connection is so strong, and the pain that you're going through is holding them, like it's like you're holding them there with you, and which it is hard to let go. It's super hard to let go of things that you love. And I think so much about life. It's so funny because life isn't real. And we really can, when we all go out, we're back together. But when we are here and somebody leaves us, and the pain is so extreme, and something that always is so much a part of it is how you spent your time. And it never seems like there's enough time. And you wish you would have done more with this time, and you wish you would have not done this, and you wish you would have done that. It's like this whole reevaluation that occurs. And like I know, and I'm still hoping, that we get these med beds soon. Which this was something I had seen this morning too, was somebody saying this could be the Black Monday, and because there's so much going with the silver, and that the banks can't do it. And so there's more to it too, because so there was some silver mines. So Elon's business went in and bought it all up. So they bought all that you could. So like they could foresee what was ahead. And so they went in and bought it all. So that created a huge shortage. Because all these different businesses all need it, like Samsung, like there's a whole bunch. I had no idea how much silver was used for these different things. And it's supposed to be even way bigger. So, so he went in and bought it all up. So it created this shortage that they didn't see coming. And so now that has hit in. And, but it's all like flipping. Because now all silver's already up to 83. It's moving so fast. So it's up to 83. And the banks are kind of, but it was their manipulation that created this. And that's the thing, is that why it's going to play out the way it's going to play out. because they created this repression to build up um, their system of currencies so that they could, and it was all used to manipulate us and to keep us trapped as debtors. And they're the collectors. And so, but it's all switching to go in our favor. And even if you haven't, been holding on to silver or something, it's still it's going to switch into your favor. And investing into silver was just an added bonus. Well, that one person who invested and has got 250 ounces, like they're gonna have $2 million worth. It's like, man, that's crazy. But there's a lot. There was, I think that the numbers were like 800 trillion ounces or something. It was a huge amount. And then Elon bought all this, and so created this big shortage, and so the banks are having this big problem, and so they don't have anything to back it up. So it's so this person was saying this could be, the day like some of these banks won't open. So we'll see. We'll see what goes down. We'll see how it plays out. Which now I gotta that place that sold me the purse, they weren't saying anything to me. They'd offered me $15. That's the best we can do. Sorry. And so, and then I had messaged something, and they didn't say anything because I didn't know how this was going to go with this dispute. And so then it was so funny too, because I was sitting there thinking, man, if I just had this much money, if I just had $30, I could go get this, and I need to go get some more groceries and stuff. And so then I checked my account. There's $30 in it. I'm like, what? So I look, and then so in the dispute, they've gotten back like 21 of the dollars. So they've brought $21 back into my account in this dispute. And then this morning I get this email from the company, and they're like, oh, we see you've opened a dispute on us. I was wondering how this would go. So we see you've opened a dispute on us. Well, this could take a long time for this dispute. Please wait a minute. And that this dispute could take a while, and that we will, and it costs $30 or $60 for postage to send this product back to China. And so what they're offering is I can keep it again, keep this hideous bag, and which I swear to, I'm just gonna give it to the thrift store. It's like it just irritates me anyways to see it, but and it's so disappointing. God, I was excited about that bag, but I was so excited. Oh my God, I'm so excited opening it, and then I pull it out. I was like, what? Oh, and so they'll give me, because it costs too much to send back. Now they'll give me $30. They're trying to do me a big favor here, and so I haven't answered and said anything. And I'm real curious to see how this dispute's going to continue to play out. If they're going to give me the rest of the money or what? Because it is tempting. Yeah, give me my fucking $30, and then I would have all my money back from the bag. But I don't know now that there's action being taken by the bank, if then that would cause a disruption in that. It's like, no, let's just let the bank do its thing. Because, and I may ask the bank, I may call the bank and ask them, but it's such a pain, man, to get through to these different companies. And they said that they were going to notify me by mail, and I would hear something in a week. I was surprised that they had already gotten some money back and put it in my account. I'm really hoping that the rest goes in today. And but anyways, so I don't know. I don't know about the what's gonna happen with the banks. I don't know what's gonna happen with my dispute. I don't know what's gonna happen with the earthquakes. I don't know what's gonna happen with the black things growing in the yard. All of a sudden, this crazy alien creature is gonna start taking over. I don't know. But it seems like, that's Ruthie. It seems like, I swear to God, and I think they're all having allergies. And I've been giving them all yeast medicine, but I think I'm going to get some allergy medicine. And I didn't know, I saw recently that pit bulls are prone to having a lot of allergies, which so is my golden retriever. Golden retrievers have lots of allergies too. Stella has lots of things that grow, these bumps. And the vet said, oh yeah, these English Mastiffs always have tons of those. But they're not ever cancer. They're just these weird growths all over them. So, which she does. She gets all these growths all the time. But Archie and Ruthie keep having this red belly. And then I've reduced how much food I'm giving. I'm giving him only a little bit of food at a time. He's lip smacking right now. I don't know, because we don't know how these chemicals are affecting even them and getting on their skin and everything. And they keep going crazy, like chewing on themselves and stuff. Like Ruthie right now and Stella right now are going crazy on their arms. And I've been giving them diatomaceous earth every day in their food, which is supposed to be really good of keeping the peas at bay. So, but I had seen all these things coming up about pit bulls and their allergy problem. So I was like, oh, I bet you I should get some. And I keep seeing this certain stuff because I'm always going to go with natural, because there's some prescriptions you can get. So I'm going to get this stuff. It's called Finn or something. And see how that works, see what that does. Because it doesn't seem like the yeast pills are doing much. She's going crazy right now. So, anyways, we got a lot of stuff going. We got volcano, and more stuff will keep popping off. More things will keep going. But then, we can't get upset with the people who are not seeing, because it's their out. It's their exit plan. It's how they get out of here. And they have a beautiful, when you think about it in the bigger scheme of things for humanity, they have this beautiful exit that is going to change the world. So the world is going to change from these huge disasters happening. And it's going to bring us back to more of the purity of our soul, and more caring, compassionate beings that we really are. But we are playing different parts here so we can learn from our mistakes. That's the thing. Is so much about life is learning from your mistakes. It's your choices and consequences. It's what you do and then what happens after. And it's not that any of them are right or wrong or good or bad. It's just what you came to learn. It's how you came to see things. So, and there's a lot of stuff being shown right now. There's lots of things going on. So I'm curious to see now how this day continues to play out. If the banks do open, if how much more the silver goes up. Every day it goes up. So we'll see how much more it goes up in the and there's definitely a thing saying, because I'm saying that the projection is supposed to be like, it's going to be like 10,000. And now there's a real shortage, and they're going to have to do more mining or something to get more. And and it was smart of Elon to buy it up while it was cheap. Like, I wish I would have bought more. But but now but there's a big projection that they're saying it's going to go to 4K real quick. So so that's going to be big right there, because but there's also going to be a lot of changes in our world of like the inflation drop, the reevaluation. Man, I'm going crazy. The reevaluation and changes in. I really think that there's going to be a part of the money going back to the people, because this is a time of abundance and stuff. And I really think a part of the money going back to the people. What is it, girl? Probably because Stella's in front of me. They all have to be on top of me all the time, or they lose their fucking minds. Then in the reevaluation and the giving the abundance back to the people, I believe there's going to be incentives. I believe it's going to come back to us in like homes and communities, businesses, and stuff. So I think that there's going to be a lot of money going back into communities and stuff. So I don't think that, like we'll have to just like change in our silver to be able to make it, because a lot of people aren't going to have silver. So that's why to me, it's like, hold on to it. Keep letting it roll out, because it's going to keep going up, 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 and up. And I do think, and I'm sitting here living in a fucking building or whatever, a garage building, a shop in this tiny little apartment. And every time I go out in the kitchen, because I'm about to go out there and make some toast and tea, that it's fucking cold as fuck. So cold. And we're in this 20s in the day and 40s in the afternoon. Well, yesterday I think it didn't even get up over mid-30s. So, and I think in a couple days it's been super sunny, but I think it's supposed to start snowing here in a couple days. Yeah. So, anyways, we'll just go ahead and, okay, we don't need to be on top of me. That's what we don't need to do. I know. You're itchy. I'm sorry. I'm going to get you some medicine. So, she's a cute little monster. But she's a monster. So, anyways, so we'll see what this day brings us. We'll see how things play out today. Things are going to keep picking up steam and things are going to keep building and stuff. But, just stay true to you. Stay true to what it is that you want in life and stuff. And make sure you give yourself time. My one daughter, she was like, oh, I'm sick again. I was like, the reason you keep getting sick is because you're not giving yourself enough time, enough downtime. Well, there's nobody to do my work for me. It's like, yeah, but you have to prioritize you. Your body is telling you that you're doing too much. That's why you're getting sick. And if you get sick each time because you're not listening, you can't push your body so much. This is this time of priorities and stuff. You got to be able to see you got to prioritize you. And so many people, it's just like, what does that mean? I've got to get to work. I've got bills to pay and I got to do this and do that. It's like, but that's the reprioritizing is like, do you really? What do you really have to do? And your body is really, showing you like, you want to be sick? You want to be sick? Is that the only time you'll give yourself some time is sick? So anyways, but so give yourself time, take some time off, for God's sake. The world's not going to end. And give yourself time to reevaluate and look at yourself and be clear with yourself and learn to love yourself. Learn to love everybody and learn to have the day you want to have, because it is up to you. It has to do with how you, prioritize things, what it is, what are your priorities. So anyways, but, it's exciting to start this week, and it's the end of our American New Year. We're rolling into the end of it and starting a new year, which is just a out of balance cycle anyways. But anyways, so this is going to be a year full of change. So, we'll see what today brings. I think it's going to bring a lot of interesting things probably. So, especially through the whole week. So anyways, but we'll see what today brings and we'll talk about it tomorrow. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.